Good afternoon. My name is Philip Ware, and I'm going to be bringing you the lesson dated June the 28th, entitled Wisdom's Feast. The printed text is coming from Proverbs 9, 1 through 6, verses 8 through 10, verses 13 through 18. Did you know that in 1999 November, all powerhouses Exxon Corporation and Mobil Corporation secured approval from the Federal Trade Commission to complete their $81 billion merger? Exxon was then the industrial leader, and while Mobil was the number two in the field. The deal was cited as one of the most successful M&A business deals in history. And did you know that it all happened over a meal? The structure of this merger and the terms of this merger was done all over a meal. Question: has a meal ever changed your life? In our lesson today, there are two individuals, Lady Wisdom and Lady Folly, who are seeking the allegiance of a naive young man, and all of them want to improve this guy to come on their side. The question that we have for today, our foundational question, is why should we heed to Lady Wisdom call? Before we start, I want to give you some truths about Proverbs, some foundational truths about Proverbs. A proverb is a short, concise teaching that governs conduct and life. The purpose of a proverb is to teach the readers wisdom so that they would allow wisdom to govern their lives. The two major themes of Proverbs is wisdom and folly. Question we have today is: wisdom has offered an invitation, and we want to find out is why should I heed to wisdom invitation to her banquet? Well, the first outline we want to look at is wisdom invitation to the banquet. What I wanted to show in this first section is the strategy that wisdom used to lure her young audience to her banquet. And one of the things I found out is that we can use these same tactics in using anyone to come to our banquet or our meetings. Businesses use it all the time. When a business wants to conduct a business deal, one of the things they choose is an atmosphere. And when they have their business meeting, a lot of businesses conduct businesses over lunch. And one of the things they do when they conduct business, they have to choose the right atmosphere. And that's exactly what Lady Wisdom did in our lesson on today. Verse 1 says, wisdom has built her house, and she has carved its 7 columns. One of the things we want to see now is her atmosphere that she cultivates to lure her young audience to her home. She has an inviting atmosphere. What is the atmosphere that she created? Well, first of all, she says her house is spacious. It's elegant. It has 7 columns, which represents completeness and perfection. Wisdom herself has built this home, and it's large enough to entertain anyone. One of the things we want to understand is that when you want to invite somebody to come and pledge allegiance to you, or you want to win them over, you got to have a safe environment or atmosphere, an inviting atmosphere in which to conduct your business with. One of the reasons you want to do that is because you don't want any distraction. You want that person's sole and undivided attention on you and what you have to pitch. Lady Wisdom did that. Her atmosphere is spacious, it's comfortable, and it is inviting. The second thing that she has appealing food. That's in verse number 2. Verse number 2 says, she has prepared a great banquet. It's mixed with wine, and she has set a table. Appealing food. She has slaughtered animals, meat. She has mixed wines, as well as set tables for guests. The wine is mixed with water so as not to decrease the likelihood of drunkenness. She has an atmosphere, and she also has appealing food. And not only do she have those two things, look at her method of invitation. That's in verse 3. Verse 3 says she has sent her servants to invite everyone to come. She calls out from the heights overlooking the city, her invitation. One of the things when you set out an invitation to someone, you want to plan that date in advance. You want to send out a brief email, and then you also want to contact that person personally. Well, Lady Wisdom did the very same tactics. She planned her date in advance. She sent her maids out to invite people to come in. And not only did she send her maids out, she personally went out there and invited guests to come into her home. The fourth thing we see in verse 6 is that she had revealed her topic. Not only did she created an atmosphere, not only did she had appealing food for her guests, and not only did she send out invitations, she had revealed the topic in which she was going to discuss. And that's in verse 6. Verse 6 says, leave your simple ways behind and begin to live. Learn to use good judgment. What is the topic? What is Lady Wisdom after? All she wants to do is help people live. She want to learn them. She want to teach them how to use good judgment. And that's the only reason that she's trying to appeal to whomsoever will hear her calls. Her plans are not to hurt anyone. It's not to harm anyone. All she wants to do is show people how to live and use good judgment. The key point that I have for that section right there is that winning people's allegiance and trust take careful planning and dedication. The next part of our text talks about the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I went and labeled this section as wisdom instruction for teachers. Now, in Hebrews 5, 2 and 12, the writer of Hebrew in this section says, by now you should be teachers. Instead, you need someone to teach you again the first things that you need to know from God's word. You still need milk instead of solid food. That statement right there tells us that all of us are purposed to be teachers. Not only are we to continue to be students, but at some time we ought to evolve to be teachers. And as teachers, wisdom has something that she wants to share with teachers. The first thing she wants to share with us, it comes in verse number 6. Verse number 8. It says, don't bother correcting mockers, for they will only hate you, but correct the wise and they will love you. The first lesson that Lady Wisdom gives us as teachers is that rebuke scorners is just a waste of time and energy. A scorner is one who mocks the things of God in order to involve others. Matthew 7 and 6 says, do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to the pigs. If you do, they will trample under their feet and turn your tears into pieces. Do not rebuke scorners, because it is a waste of time. The Lady Wisdom tells us that it's better to teach the wise who will love the truth and wisdom you give them. Secondly, she says the wise person is characterized by a willingness to endure rebuke and is receptive to any kind of instruction. They love rather than hate the teacher because they are aware of the benefits of instruction and are open to guidance. Well, what do you teach them? First of all, you want to teach them from the scripture. It says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. What do you teach them? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Why is it the beginning? Well, the fear of the Lord is to realize that you are under another person's power. It puts God at the focus of a person's identity rather than on oneself. The key point that we get from that is that unless you come to the conclusion that God is smarter than you, that he's more powerful than us, and that he's more holier than us, you will never experience wisdom and knowledge or either understanding. Third section of our lessons talks about folly's invitation. Now, Lady Wisdom had an invitation, and I've just identified her invitation and her method of gathering people to come and see her, what she has to say. Let's take a look at Lady Folly and look at her invitation. Why should we heed to Lady Folly's invitation? Well, first of all, let's look at her atmosphere. That's in verse number 14. Verse 14 says, she sits at her doorway on the heights and overlook the city. Her atmosphere is in her home. It's not supported by pillars. It is just an ordinary habitation, and it's of no stately proportion. Her house is in the highest and most conspicuous part of the city. That's her atmosphere. Let's take a look at her appealing food in verse number 17. Verse 17 says, stolen water is refreshing food. Food eaten in secret tastes the best. What about her food? Well, she furnished her guests with stolen bread and water. She furnished her guests with water. The stolen water referred to adulterous intercourse. And verse 14 shares with us her method of invitation. What method did she use to invite people to come and hear what she has to say? Well, verse 14 says, she sits at her doorway on the height and overlooks in the city. Where Lady Wisdom goes out and invite people to come in, she sent her maids out to invite people to come and hear what she has to say. Lady Folly, on the other hand, sits at her home and beckons and uses some seductive words to win people to hear what she has to say. What's her topic of discussion? Is in verse 18. But little do they know that the dead are there. Her guests are in the depths of the grave. Her topic of discussion is very simple. It's all about destruction of the body as well as the soul. Now, I've revealed to you two methods of Lady Wisdom and Lady Folly. Both of them are after the young, the naive, the gullible individual. But both of them use the same method. However, Lady Wisdom proposition is a far more better than Lady Folly's represented. Now, I ask yourself, if you were an executive for ExxonMobil Oil and you wanted to cut a deal, would you go to a place that's not desirable? Would you go to somebody's house where the doors is wide open? There are pet bulldogs in the front yard. There's abandoned and unsalvageable cars in the front. Would you go there? No. I don't even think ExxonMobil representative would go there. What they would do was just pass on by. And that's the appeal that we offer to the young folks, someone who's young and gullible, who's inexperienced. If you see somebody who's trying to get you off the path that leads to life and death, you should go do just like those executives, goes the other way. Deuteronomy 30 says, today I call the heavens and the earth as witness against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life so that you and your family may live. The plan is already laid out. Lady Wisdom or Lady Folly. I appeal to you on today that you choose wisely. Choose Lady Wisdom and don't follow Lady Folly. One of the things that we as adults try to do is that we try to appeal to the young folks. Our whole objective is to get the next generation prepared for greatness. And we cannot do that unless we go out there and compel them to come in. I think we can take a lesson from this lesson today and see that there is a strategy involved. How do you get somebody to come and you can speak wisdom to them? Well, first you have to be skillful. First, I would appeal to you to get an atmosphere to where you can talk over a meal. Invite them to your home or invite them to a restaurant so that you can have undivided distraction to them and so that you can convey to them the words of wisdom. The whole objective for us as adults and those who are mature is to get the next generation prepared for greatness. And that comes through sowing into your expertise, your experiences, your wisdom to someone who might not be as wise as you, so that you can do your part and get in the next generation prepared for greatness. Thank you very much.